November 20th, and we have a holiday trading week, November 20th through the 24th. Let's get into the risk disclaimer. We know there's risk in trading. Please know as you trade capital only. Know the deal. Social media. This is the best place to find me. YouTube.com/Chris Pulver and my Twitter account as well. Verified handle at @RealChrisPulver. Please make sure that it's actually me. The last week we've had a lot more imposters pop up here. Dot Real Chris Pulver, Real Chris Pulver 1, Real Chris Pulver underscore, blah blah blah. Look, if it's not, look, you know how to get me. If you're on my Discord channel, you find me here on YouTube, leave a comment, I'll reply. So just make sure that if any ridiculous like direct messages from Chris, it's not for me. I will not reach out to you first. I will answer your questions if you reach out to me directly. Just make sure it's me. And I say this every Monday, every Friday, any video, all of my trading rooms. I'm trying to tell you exactly how to find me. Okay. All right. Let's jump into the charts. We're at 451.06 on the SPY. Looked at some implied volatility this week. Contract sizes, we're looking at 455, 450, and 460 for the largest open interest of the week. The big jump right here is at 450. That's where the biggest volume is sitting as we're kind of getting started for the week. Now, just making this really simple. Price can go obviously up. Price can go down. Price can go nowhere. I just took a trade this morning. If anybody's interested, I was going to post this for my Delta Trader group and Equities on Demand. I did a strangle this morning. It was pretty inexpensive. And I get that we might not see a ton of movement. I was looking at some butterfly prices and butterfly spreads, which pay pretty well. Problem is, I'd have to take probably 3 or 4 of those trades, and I'm going to be traveling this week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and so Friday's going to be tough for me to manage by closing bell. So I'm going to make it a really simple week and just do a straight up long strangle. And if price goes up and price goes down, that's what I'm looking for. And the legs that I just took, let me look at my broker platform here. I just did a 454. 454, I typed that backwards. 454 by 447 long strangle for a $1.58 debit. That's going to be about my max risk on the week because this will give me a chance to take the trade today. I can set a credit around $3. I can set a credit at $5. I mean, if we hit the highs here at like 458 and change, that'll give me $4+ on my call side. If we fill this gap around 442 or 441, that'll give me $5 or $6 on the downside. So I will be watching those levels. I can set my credit accordingly, maybe make it conservative, try to go after like a $3 credit, make 100% of the position or just shy of that. I think that's a pretty simple way to kind of attack the week. If we have a, holiday type drift where there's not a lot of selling action, not a lot of volume, just kind of drifting higher, why not? Why not hit the highs at 458 and change? Before we have some gap fills, or if we come back and fill the gap. We don't have a lot of news this week to digest. We'll go through that in just a moment, but I'm going to keep the trade pretty simple. So I'll post this on portfolio or my Delta Trader Telegram channel, and then I will log into YouTube and say hi to everybody. Let's jump in here. All right, who's tuning in? Ian, good morning. Jake, good morning. Gary, good morning. David, Rex, Chris, and Everett, Ruthann, Perry, good morning. Nice to see everybody. Happy Monday. Okay. So let me go into Delta Trader, new trade. This is going to be an 11/24 expiration. It's on the SPY. Buy to open 454 call. Buy to open 447 put. $1.58 debit. Credit target would be $3 or better. And SPY price target, we're going to look for 458 highs. And if we come back and fill the gap, I like to see if this gap gets filled around 442, 442 lows. And if it's anything beyond that, that's good. So that trade has been posted. Post this in Equities on Demand as well. There we go. Q's breaking the highs. Just having that chart alarm going off right now if you can hear it. So we're on the SPY here. Q's at 388. That strength worked out pretty well last week. Could do the same thing on the Q's, see if we have something relatively inexpensive. We opened this morning right around 3. Is it already? There's no way this up like $3 today already. Wow, it is. Holy crap. So we opened at 386. We're currently trading around 388. Okay, so it's about a $2 move right at the open on the Qs. Again, gap fill. Um, Qs are going to be a little bit more expensive, but I'll take a look at the pricing just really quickly, and then we'll get into some charts and requests, plan out the week. Like I said, I'll be traveling this week, so my trading is going to be pretty quiet. I don't want to overtrade, especially if I can't be, at the computer managing by Friday closing bell, which is where some of my positions need to be managed. So if I do the Qs, go out to Friday the 24th. Right now we're trading at 388. If I went up a little bit higher, 392, and go down a little bit to 385 perhaps, maybe a 384. I could do a 392 by 384. That would cost me, wow, that's way more expensive. It cost me 225 to take the trade versus $1.58. So you're paying for that implied volatility on the Qs. You might get it. I don't necessarily love that. And like I said, I'm not looking to risk a bunch this week. I'll be back in the saddle again on Monday. On the 27th, we trade through the rest of the week. I've got a conference in DC on the 1st. So, I told traders this last week, and I think this is important. We mentioned this on Friday last week on the 17th. Trading wise for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be holiday trading, right? I'm not saying there's not going to be movement. There probably will be. We're looking at currencies this morning. The Japanese yen's kind of swinging for another, maybe a seasonal move by the end of the year, maybe some rebalancing. We'll find out. So we'll be watching those pairs closely. But coming into the stock market, I mean, look, momentum and a very strong amount of momentum has been created. If there is no activity for heavy selling, this market will just drift and drift and drift and drift. Okay. And that's okay. So what I don't want to do is be like, well, there's gaps here, we got to sell it. No, we don't. If anything, I feel like if we're forcing trades, we're over trading. I think right now, given the next couple weeks with light calendar news, we don't have to take a lot of trades. I'm taking small risk. Everything will be defined, and if we have some good movement through the holidays, great. If we don't, then it's quiet. I mean, there's ways to trade that too, but I'm going to take a fairly inexpensive debit, give myself a chance. If the market goes up or down, I get paid. If the market goes nowhere, then I might just eat a loss this week. But it's okay. I mean, we've been really profitable the last 6 weeks, and like I said, I'm not looking to give a ton of it back. In fact, I'm looking to give like very little of it back, like less than 1% of it back. So anyway, this week's trading, next week's trading. This week will be disrupted with holidays. Thursday's Thanksgiving, might be some light volume this week. We'll see if we go higher or lower, but don't underestimate the power of the holiday drift. Okay? Because if there's no real activity to sell, this market will just by default use the momentum that's already been established and just start going higher. Okay, now what could be the trigger? What could be the catalyst? Come into a couple weeks out, and we've talked about this last week. December 11th through the 15th is the next big week where I see a lot of potential catalysts moving the market up or down. Fed on the 13th, and the 12th CPI data for the U.S. Right, so the market got super excited for this last print that we just had for CPI, and we have one more go to wrap up the year. Right. So could I see some gap fills? Yes, of course. But what would be the driving factor? Maybe something like news. That's going to be it. So if it's just no real selling, no real movement, lower volatility, the drift could be in full effect. Right? So watching. Qs are at the highs. SPY is not. Therefore, Qs have been outperforming. We're staring at the Magnificent 7, which makes up about 20% of the entire stock market. The concentration in these large mega cap techs are ridiculous. I don't know if it's good or bad. We'll find out. I'm going to move this chart alarm to 442. 442. And to the upside, if I'm in the 454, I can move this up towards 458. I think I like that level. I'll probably take this for a $1.58 debit. If I can get like a $3.50 to $4 credit this week, I would be pretty happy with it overall. Make a few bucks. Okay. Ruth Ann, Microsoft, NVIDIA drama. Is it drama? Is there anything happen with their stock price? Oh, OpenIA stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like what's his butts coming back? Sam Altman or whatever, is that his name? Sounds like he's coming back as CEO of OpenAI. Look, if price action not doing anything wild and crazy, I mean, here's news. So, staff threatens to quit unless board resigns. Ask board to resign. Wow. I mean, yeah, it's drama, but I don't know. I mean, if you don't see like this crazy outlier in price action, then it's just noise right now, and that's probably what we're going to have to deal with. Is you see a headline, you're going to see stuff on Market Watch, you're going to see it on Bloomberg, you're going to see it on CNBC, just a bunch of noise. Just trade the charts. Yep. So Nvidia is kind of the same song and dance. I mean, we might look at it. I hate to say we want to short this. Technically speaking, it would make some sense, but I got burned trying to short Nvidia over here for a couple of bear call spreads, took some losses, and then the pricing got really bad. Where I was trying to go in the money for bear call spreads, and I was only getting like, I mean, 240 out of a $5 spread, and I was $5, $10 in the money, which is insane. So if I can't get a good option price on this one, I think I'm just going to stay out of it. I mean, what I'd be more interested in looking at for Nvidia would be, I don't know, something like an out of the money call option, or I'm sorry, an out of the money put option that is dirt cheap. Like maybe pay $1 or less and give this thing, 30 to 45 days, maybe 60 to 90 days. We can look at it today, equities on demand. But if there's something where I can drive this lower, problem is if I do an out of the money call, put option, it's going to be expensive. We're probably going to have to pay $5 or $10 for something out of the money, and I'm not willing to put any amount of risk like that on this trade because I could be dead wrong. So again, Microsoft, Nvidia, as you're asking, Ruthann, I don't see anything that really jumps out. There's news, there's noise, but if overall volume is quiet, it could be exactly that. It could be quiet. Okay. Tuesday earnings. Yep. Let me check something really quickly on earnings. We had 400 companies last week. It should be a lighter calendar for earnings this week as well. Let me verify that, especially with the holidays. So let me have a look. Weekend rip. I'll get a quick note of how many companies have earnings. We have 87 companies with earnings. So it's not a ton. Any notables in here? Nvidia is aftermarket close on Tuesday. We have Zoom Communications aftermarket today. We have Baidu. That'll be interesting Tuesday morning before the market opens. That's BIDU. We have some exposure on that. Baidu on the daily time frame trading at 109. We have essentially a credit spread straddle where if it goes above a certain price or below a certain price, we get paid. Earnings this week, I'm possibly interested in maybe taking an earnings stab. Let's talk about that today, actually, because we could have a couple of days to manage that. Average weekly move might be quiet, but there could be enough volatility in this one. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks have been pretty quiet, so I just want to see where things are priced at. So this will be one to note. Let me put a screenshot up here. So earnings this week. And a couple that I'd be watching. So Baidu. Take a look at that one. I'll change that to yellow. And what else? Best Buy for retail, Kohl's for retail, Nordstrom. These will be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to trade these necessarily, but looking at the health of consumer, HP, Nvidia, that'll be a big one. Nvidia, good or bad. There's one thing I will say about Nvidia. If we can get a fair price on maybe a option strangle, that one might pay us pretty nicely this week. There could be some high volatility on it, possibly. Everything else is kind of global. John Deere, pretty steady, but that'd be kind of my list. I mean, it's not a big earnings week. We're going into a holiday trading week. Thursday, the markets are closed. Friday, Wednesday, before and after holidays could be a little bit lighter. So again, try not to overtrade this week, right? But I am interested in maybe looking at a couple of option prices if they're inexpensive and the averages and the numbers make sense, which we'll calculate all that stuff based on option slam and previous earnings history. So we can do that no problem. Okay. All right, let's go to some other charts. Let's go back to the SPY really quickly. We just looked at that. It's at 451 and change. There's my strangle for the week. The Qs, looking at the strangle as well, but it's already moved up a couple of bucks, and it's 70 cents more that I don't really feel like risking this week. I'm not going to be able to manage much through the week Thursday, Friday with travel. IWM. We did have a nice symmetry move. I've got that green box on here. You can see that we did a symmetry play like this. It was low to high, higher low to higher high. If we have a pullback and another push, this puts the IWM in some pretty good motion to at least make a recovery. Now, is this possible by the end of the year? I don't know. That's a tall task because I think this is like 20%. Yeah, 22%. I don't think the small cap is going to outperform large cap that dramatically. We're right back in the midpoint. That's kind of what I wanted to point out here. So we have pretty solid resistance, right? A lot of resistance up here, a lot of support down here, and this little symmetry run just recently got us right back into the middle. So it is possible that we stall here in the middle like we've done before. We had a lot of noise in here, a lot of noise in here. I would personally like to see if we can get a chance to buy it back in this gap and see if there's still, we put in the low, buy it in the gap, and then have, maybe 15% to the upside to see if we can retest range highs. This would require the broader market to rally. This would require the small caps to outperform large caps and small caps to possibly outperform tech and other things. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It seems like the safest play right now is everyone's just dumping money back into Apple and Microsoft and Tesla and Google and Amazon, right? Everyone's in the Mag 7. So anyway, I will be watching. I want to trade the IWM. We had a great couple of trades on it off these lows. We had a combination of credit spreads, some long calls, and some strangles that paid out really nicely. And I'd like to see if there's some more follow through. The DIA for the Dow, maybe a little bit quieter. But again, big gaps to the upside. Kind of the same situation. I'm curious what the week, the daily versus the weekly. I think the weekly is around an $8 move. This might be another potential strangle that I can look at this morning that I'll look at 10 o'clock. So we're trading at 349. What do we start out for the week? You can see it's a tiny little sliver of a candle. So we open at 349.10. We're trading at 349.71. The average weekly move is around $7.90. So if we can get a debit that's $1.50 or less, if this market even comes remotely close to that, we should be able to make a few bucks on it. So I can check out that price action. Let's see here. PLD Warehouse. Is PLD the stock, Linda? Or Donna, sorry. This one, Prologis. Is this what you're looking at? Technically, at best, maybe some support and resistance in this area. Worst case is that we had such a crazy run up that I'd hope for a range to give us a chance just to make some trades in here to get some bullishness off those lows. But my concern is overall like this high is in, and maybe we're putting in, like I said, at best price goes up, stop loss below, and we just have some noise, sideways movement. Now that's not, it's not quiet. That's $100 to 135, 140. If that's the same stock you're looking at, PLD. All right, let's get into some currencies. Let's go DXY. The old dollar index trading at 103.49. 103.50 was the level I'm watching. This is where the stock market continues to possibly have legs to the upside, right? So this pattern I have, this is my broadening pattern. We've been talking about this for months. We finally turned over below that 105.50 level. We're at 103.50 right now. Look, if the dollar continues to drop, guess what that means for the stock market? Stock market should be going higher. I'm telling you, this holiday drift stuff is real. If the dollar is put into motion and the dollar continues to go lower, stock market continues to drift higher. Okay, so I will wait. If we get a strong bounce at 103.50 and it heads back up to 105.50, okay, fine. That'll be a noisy week for stocks. But we don't really have any major news this week outside of some CAD CPI and a couple other things, but it's pretty light. 87 companies reporting earnings. I know there's some notables, but that's not 1,000 companies. We're going to this week's trading. CPI for Canada on Tuesday morning. Wednesday, we have U of M sentiment, which is usually reserved for Fridays. Unemployment claims on Wednesday because Thursday is a holiday. PMI numbers out of the Eurozone on Thursday. And then Friday, it's quiet, right? It's all Eurozone stuff. Retail sales out of Canada. U.S. has manufacturing PMI, manufacturing services PMI, which again, those have been, let's see what those are trending actually. If PMI numbers have been trending up or down. So manufacturing PMI has been trending from 46 to 49, 47 to 49, 50. It's been trending up slightly. Let's go more. Yeah, I'd say it's for the most part it's been trending back up into that steady 50 handle. Um, it needs to be above 50 to be a little bit more optimistic. Below 50, that's kind of always been like an early sign for recession. Flash services PMI, where most of our jobs are being created in the service sector, hospitality sector, this one's been dipping lower. So 50, 54, 54, 55, 54, 52, 1, 50, and so you can see it's been trending lower from the highs at 54 and 55. So a little bit lower on the PMI, the services PMI side. But that's Friday this week. Other than that, it is a pretty quiet week for news. Okay, so here's DXY. Like I said, things in motion. Will they stay in motion? If they do, dollar continues to get weaker, stock market continues to run higher, and let's see what else happens. Okay, oil. Oil, I'm not bullish on oil until one, we settle back into this like 65 to 62.50 area. Even if we said 70 bucks, if we're settling between 70 and 65, I'd still like to get long on oil for maybe a range trade. Just like we had over here, pretty tight stop for a 35 to 40% upside. Worked out pretty well. But otherwise, I want to see if it breaks the right-hand side of the trend line. If it doesn't, I'm going to see if it settles back into these lows. That's where I want to buy it. Gold and silver. FOMC on Tuesday that will shake things. This week, Tuesday? What FOMC? Oh, minutes? Maybe. Minutes usually don't do the same thing as Jerome Powell. December 13th will be the big one for FOMC. Minutes could be a little bit of a shakeup on Tuesday, but I don't see that being a huge mover, no. I mean, the market uses it as an excuse, great, but I think path of least resistance. If the minutes are like super hawkish or super dovish, maybe it jolts the markets a little bit up or down. But yeah, minutes are usually not the same as old Powell press conference and the actual rate decision that we have December 13th. But thanks for pointing that out. I did overlook that, James. Okay, anything on gold? I'd like to buy gold support at 1920 to 1880 if we get a pullback. Here's a little bit better chart on the daily. So if we have a chance to buy that window, I like that window a lot. If we can buy a pullback here, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, I like gold long. See if we get back to the highs. At this point, if we took that trade and we get a stop loss in, I would just keep that stop loss above break even, because if this thing breaks and goes higher, there is a lot of potential on gold. There is. And again, I could be wrong, and maybe it hits resistance and comes all the way back down, and it's just a big range trade. But if we break this level, I mean, gold has a lot of upside. Silver, same thing. Silver trading at 23.50. Previous highs all the way back here towards 29 or 30. Looking to see if silver will maintain this kind of posture here. So if we break above, I think I said this last week, we break above like 24.50. It looks like we're in the right area to continue to grind higher. Something like that. So I will be watching. This got a little noisy with that kind of test of the lows. So I think as long as we stay above this low, I mean, we can get choppier and messier, but as long as we stay above this low, which is around 20 bucks, 20 bucks and 50 cents, we stay above that, I think silver's still postured pretty bullish. Okay. So DXY we're going to watch closely. That'll pair us up with all the dollar crosses in the Forex market. Gold and silver we did. Bitcoin, Ethereum, let's take a look at those. Bitcoin trading at 37.3. Pivots and pullbacks, 32 to 31,000. I'd love to see a dip I can buy. Otherwise, again, set in motion. Maybe Bitcoin has just momentum behind it. Maybe this next level is 48K. So this is why I'm long. This is why we bought in at 17.5 and bought again at 20. And we're patiently waiting. If I get a dip to buy at 32 or 31, I'll buy a dip. If I don't, I'm just going to hold positions, hold steady. We'll get up to 48 plus and, celebrate a nice little bull market that we've got. Ethereum. Ethereum's actually a really clean looking resistance level. Set a chart alarm at 2150. I've got it set here at the highs at 2138. If we break this high, Ethereum could play some catch up. It could outperform Bitcoin in the near term. If it does, this would be pretty exciting to have just a simple breakout trade. We break above here. We go after this level. That's a really nice gain. Percentage wise, that is roughly 60%. So I don't know how many stocks are going to give us something like that now. So yeah, Ethereum is something to keep an eye on for. 2140, 2150, we break above those highs. The flip side of that is if it holds this level and starts to roll back down, and there's obviously support here at 1500 and 1250. I'd like to take, kind of a fresh position, dollar cost averaging at support. But if we just break above, could I put $1,000 on this and make $600? That'd be fine. Obviously, I want to let it run and see if we get to all-time highs again. That'd be good too. So, but just watching Bitcoin, Ethereum primarily to see how the rest of the market's going to behave. If we get up to fresh highs on Ethereum, that's all the way back up here. That's a 129% gain. And from there, who knows, right? We break the highs at 5,000. Do we go to 7,500? We go to 10,000? Possibly. We go to 10,000. That's a 400% return from current price. Not too shabby. All right, other currencies. Yen crosses. Let's take a look at the yen. Yen was one of the stronger pairs on the day. Let's see what this one looks like on the day. So, well, officially we've taken out some previous lows on the yen crosses. This could be the big seasonal play by the Bank of Japan. Is anything happening with the Japanese 10-year bonds? Yep. So we finally started to see a little bit of appeal off of these highs at 0.98%. The Japanese yen has been still one of the trickiest and slipperiest pairs to trade. Again, if we're starting to see this market take out some lows, you can follow some alignments, but I'm very hesitant to get like big position, hold position. I would take trades like this. If I'm short dollar yen, I would be looking for a chance to get short, stay with this alignment, get on, get your systems and indicators, get your visual confirmations, go from like if we get a 4-hour alignment or a 1-hour alignment or down to like a 15-minute alignment. Stay with those trades, find your levels, fractal high stop losses, and if we make lower highs and lower lows, get your stop loss to break even and let the thing run. If all this is like we had back here is an unwinding, right? We're coming right up to those same highs at 152. If this is just an unwinding for the remainder of the season, previous highs right here, pockets like crazy. I'm sure there's pivots that have been missed along the way as this thing continues to stubbornly go higher. But again, not something I want to take a ton of risk on. It's just trading what I see and trading short-term alignments and see if I can get a stop loss to break even or better. And that's kind of it. Okay. So anyway, I'd say Godspeed and anyone trading the yen. I think it looks good right now. We actually have some solid, 3-day confirmation where it's not just a flash crash low or like an intervention spike. It actually looks like they have some confirmation behind these moves. That being said, I'd trust it maybe 49%. So I just, again, pick your battles, trade small. I would reduce my trade size in the yen crosses by probably a third. All right. So we'll see if this is last week as well. If I go to currency strength and look at Friday, Japanese yen was one of the strongest, settle back in for the day. Here we are again kicking things off with the JPY strong again. Okay. So if there's something to be seen here with like holiday trading, Bank of Japan doing some funny business, stick with your alignments. Trade what you see on the charts. Try to make it simple. All right. Any requests? Any questions? It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm going to switch over to Equities on Demand class. A couple of the trades I want to look at, maybe some earnings plays if they're cheap enough. And we'll see how the week plays out. Just for me, schedule-wise, we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trading rooms and classes as usual. Today I've got a momentum breakout class in the afternoon. Tomorrow I've got a prop trader class. I've got flex trading room, Equities on Demand, and then Thursday, Friday, no classes, video updates, maybe, or at least Telegram updates to see what's going on. I'll spot check on my phone if I'm, at the airport. I can at least check and see how things are doing. But I'll be traveling Thursday through Sunday, and then back at it on Monday. So by Friday, instead of doing a YouTube session live on Friday, I will probably just have a video ready Wednesday, and I'll post it for Friday. And I'll just have it air on Friday at 9:30 a.m. same time, but it would be a recording. But feel free to check it out. I can also do another update to my Trader's Path to 100% and get a couple indicator videos out to build on the playlist this week. And off we go. Okay. All right. I'll let you go for today's opening bell and market outlook. So let's have a good week. I'll see you in the trading room, see you in classes, and that's it. If you want to join the Discord channel, I'll post a link. I do that pretty much every time I'm live, so let's post that here. Invite for anybody new, anybody check out the recording. Before you go, if you'd hit the thumbs up button for me, I'd appreciate it. And we got about, typically 40, 50 people watching live. I'd like to see 40, 50 likes. And if you're watching the video or watching the recording, same thing. Like the video, please. And off we go. So here is the Discord channel. And just one quick thing on look, if you join my Discord channel, you know how to reach me directly, right? I mean, you can leave comments and questions here in these YouTube sessions. You can get my Discord channel. You can join in the service Chris Pulver Trading, and I am going to tell you this right now. Anybody that joins my Discord channel, guess what? I am not going to message you directly ever. Okay. So if somebody direct messages you that claims to be me or sounds like me or the name is like one decimal off, it's not me. So please report and flag all that crazy suspicious activity. You know how to reach me directly. All right. If you join the Discord channel, you can contact me. My handle is Real Chris Pulver. That's it. There's not a decimal, there's not a dash, there's not something weird. But it's the most important thing is I will not directly message you first. I'll reply to you if you message me directly, but make sure it's really me. Okay. And we have a free group chat you can verify. And I had probably 10 traders speak up last week where somebody claiming to be me was, you know, messaging first and direct messaging, and it's no good. So please report that crap. I hate it, but that's stuff I have to deal with when I put myself out there as, a trader, and people follow. So just be careful. Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll switch over to the trading rooms, and let's have a good week. See everybody. Bye.